about a deacon, Simon Peasley was his name. Admonition was his passion, but long-winded was his fame. He was strong in exhortation and profoundly entertained the belief that talking did it if a heavenly home were gained. So every Sunday morning and on Wednesday meetings too, he explained the route to heaven and what sinners ought to do. He was good and he was earnest, but variety weren't his aim. For month by month and year by year, his speech was just the same. One day while Peasley rambled, the parson went to prayer. His body sat for hours, but his spirit wasn't there. He had slipped right into heaven, and there's scarcely any doubt that Peasley's dissertations finally wore the old man out. He promptly was succeeded before the church had dried its tears by a young and eager pastor who was full of new ideas. He seized the situation ere he'd been in town a week, and by prayer he meant to fix it with a plan that was unique. For he saw unless he did so, and the Lord gave Peasley breath, that proud and zealous saint would talk his weary church to death. So the parson showed up Sunday and on his pulpit placed a teacher's pure brass call bell, then calmly turned and faced an astonished congregation. Then he said he thought it best to condense the exhortation so as not to crowd the rest. The parson said in worship all the members ought to share, and monopoly of talking by one saint just wasn't fair. So each could have 5 minutes, then he'd ring to let him know 'twas time to end the discourse and give another saint a go. There were scowls from Deacon Peasley as he rose up to his feet and commenced his usual discourse regarding tares and wheat. He was just a-getting rolling on the punishments of hell when the parson smiled and nodded and went that bell. Well, the old folks gasped in horror and a giggle sprang out low from the children in the back pew, also known as Devil's Row. Deacon Peasley choked and stuttered, gasped out loud and tried to speak, then sat down in voiceless anguish, his face bowed low and weak. As the parson took the platform with a godly subtle grin, old Peasley stood up fiercely, tobacco dripping from his chin. Drat your hide, roared Deacon Peasley, do you think that little bell scared of warriors such as I am how to speak in truths on hell? Tain't nobody sets me down, sir, nor no bell you ever saw, but you went and got me nervous and you made me swallow my jaw. The years have passed, the church has grown since Peasley moved away, and every year the church bows down to thank God for that day. 'Cause if you think the Lord had the Tower of Babel folks in awe, at this church it took second place the day Peasley ate his jaw.